Hi folks, another month has gone by, and so let's talk about all the things that I knit over the month of May. Hey folks, if you're new here, I'm Dawn. This is Tangled Together, where I talk about my knitting hobby and the other things in life that get tangled up in it. I had a lot of time to knit in May. I had a surgery at the very end of April, basically beginning of May. That meant the first 2 weeks, not months, 2 weeks of May were pretty much just like sitting around knitting, and then the rest of the month I was doing a little bit more, but there was still quite a lot of knitting time throughout the rest of that. So let's dive into it. I have 2 finished objects this month. The first is a kind of long-awaited finished object. I finished the Moby Junior for my daughter. Might be a little hard to see on camera. I'll make sure to throw in some inserts. I knit this up in Hawthorne DK in Confetti Speckle. So it's got this fun like rainbow speckly yarn to it. And I will say you lose some of the detail of the cabling with the speckled yarn. So in that regard, I think as far as like the pattern goes, I wouldn't necessarily choose to do this in this yarn. I think I have another yarn very similar to this, but it's like more of an acrylic that I knit for my daughter. And I did, I think it was like a half fisherman's rib or a siege stitch. It's kind of a very basic texture. And I think that works better for the speckle yarn. But I still am very happy. I'm sure she's going to love wearing this. And somebody did point out that the speckle yarn is going to hide stains and stuff a whole lot better. So that's something to keep in mind for knitting for toddlers and small children. Now, I did size down my needles. I didn't gauge swatch. I do think I need to start gauge swatching for sweaters for my daughter because she's starting to get to the size where I feel like fit is going to be a little bit more important, and also she seems to be growing height-wise and not a whole lot of width-wise. So I can probably start doing a little bit more math and anticipating a little bit more of the size than like when I was knitting something when she was 1 and it was like, well, this is going to be done for a few months and then she's probably not going to be able to wear it till next season and who knows what size. So we'll just knit it oversized. Even with sizing down my needles, and I stuck with the, I think it was the 3 to 4 width, but went with the 4 to 5 length. I don't think I needed to do the added length, but this is so oversized. Hopefully she'll be able to wear it next year. It might be till the year after, or next year it might be like I might need to roll the cuffs up and have her wear it with like the cuffs done up. I seem to have a looser gauge, I think, than petite knit because I seem to need to size down a needle fairly consistently for her pattern. So that's something I'm definitely going to keep in mind. And I do also wonder just the sizing. I think I need to start looking at like much more of the actual like chest circumference and width and all of that rather than the age, because I think maybe that's where things are getting a bit off. Plus my kiddo is small for her age. So I did purposely try and do this a little on the large size, knowing that she's not going to get to wear it till the winter and kids grow pretty quickly. But she is at an age where she's starting to slow down growing. As far as the pattern goes, I found it pretty easy to follow. The cable was easy to remember. Very similar in vibe to the book club cardigan in that you had the sections of honeycomb, but then you also had this larger cable. The main difference is this one didn't have the seed stitch inside. I did make an error. When I picked this back up, I was about here on the sleeve. And when I picked it up and started going, the first cable kind of twist in the cable. You can see that twist in the cable. I forgot to do that second twist. That's okay. I ended up on the second sleeve just doing the same thing. I'm pretty happy with this. I think it's a pretty solidly written pattern. I think the only thing that I don't love with it is on the sleeves for this size. You only have one repeat, like one honeycomb, which I feel like looks just a little odd. So I think if I were to knit this again at this size, I might omit the honeycomb and just keep doing the seed stitch over that. So it's just that big cable. But I probably won't end up knitting it again at this size. Just my kiddo's probably going to be grown out of this size. But yes, if I were to knit this again, this pattern again, I would do it in like a solid color, really to just let the cables shine a little bit. But I know she's going to love it because it's a rainbow sweater. And the second finished object is also for my daughter, and I think it's the first time it's appearing on the podcast. And it's this. It's the Plumeria Mini. The pattern is by Wool and Pine. It's this really cute like tank top dress that goes down into this lace. The top dress, kind of depending on sizing and what the length ends up being. So I still have to block it, so I will put some pictures of it after it's blocked in, because I feel like that's really going to let the lace, you know, really shine. But this is a cotton yarn. It is Husco Cotton Glisten by Arcania Yarns. It is a cotton and something else yarn. It's like 94% cotton and 6% just the little like sparkly threads in here, whatever that is. It's pink, it's sparkly. My kiddo's going to love it, and I think it turned out really great in this pattern. I will say this pattern has a lot of ends to weave in, because you do each of these little triangle pieces separate, then you knit them together, then you join the front and the back together. So it had all of, you know, each of these triangles had two ends that needed to get woven in. There was the end at the very bottom, and then I actually seamed up the side. That was something that was suggested in once you were completely done seaming up the side a little bit, kind of based on your kid and how much, like how modest you wanted it to be. So then I also had to weave in those ends. But all of that in mind, it was a pretty easy pattern to follow. The lace is all charted out, and it was, had like one section that got repeated, I think it was 3 or 4 times. It depends on the size that you do. You'll do more or less for the larger or smaller sizes. And I was really happy. This was my first Wool and Pine pattern that I did, and I really like a lot of their designs, so I was happy to see like the way the pattern was written made sense to me. As far as the yarn goes, it was an okay yarn to work with, because it's pretty much a full cotton yarn. It was a little rough on my hands, and I will say the like sparkly bit with the ends and like in joining and stuff like that got a little annoying, and I think that also made it a little bit harder on my hands. It's some kind of like maybe plastic or something, but I'm really excited to see. I know this is going to stretch and grow out a little bit once I block it, but very happy. Oh, the other fiddly thing that took forever is it has this like peacoat to the bottom all the way around, and that's the widest part. So it was just a lot. Like, I think I was doing this for a couple hours to finish it off, which Especially when I was so close to the end. Like, I was like, oh great, I'll get to finish it tonight. And then I was like, oh no, I guess I will finish it tomorrow. Yes, I am excited to block this and for my kiddo to wear it. She's also very excited. And the way that it attaches at the top is you tie these together, which I do like because that makes it easier to adjust it as your kid's growing, because I could see like early on when she's wearing it, just wearing it on her own, and then as she's growing, especially if she continues to grow up and not widthwise, being able to like wear it over top of a shirt or something and tie it a little bit looser so it adds a little bit more length. But yeah, like, but I would say like shirt dress type thing, definitely gonna have like shorts on underneath it with all of the lace, and also it's not super long, but she's going to absolutely love it. All right, so those are the 2 finished objects that I did for May. Let's get into the works in progress. Starting with something I really wanted to be a finished object, and that is my Staffin Lite. So this is a, I am so close to being done with this. I am actually ready to bind off on the bottom and then just do the shoulder edge and the neck edge, but I have enough to bind off. I don't think I have enough yarn to finish it. And this is knit up in Melisa sock in Amaranth Flower, and currently Knit Picks is sold out of it. So I'm hoping that they're going to restock it soon, and I can get another skein, because the other thing I thought of was I could unravel my gauge swatch, but even that I don't think, I think I will have enough to do like the neck or the armholes, but probably not all 3. So frustrating because I should have had enough. I also am worried that maybe my gauge was off. This was the thing that I primarily knit while I was recovering. So it could be quite possible that my gauge was looser while I was, you know, on pain meds and half awake knitting. So I think what I'm going to do is actually block it before I bind off, because I just don't want to do like a full Italian bind off and then be like, oh no, I have to rip the whole thing out. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to block it, see how it fits, make sure that my gauge is still correct. Because trying it on, it feels like maybe it's a little big, but I do remember this gauge swatch kind of, it plumped and shrunk slightly. So that might give me the correct gauge. And if not, then I can rip it out and, you know, probably do another gauge swatch, probably rip out my gauge swatch and redo that to make sure I'm back to the original gauge that I thought I was at, and then start over. Or if I'm still at a little bit too big of a gauge, size down in the pattern to get something that will fit. I'm so frustrated because I really want to wear this. It's like great weather to be able to wear a sleeveless top, and I don't have it done yet. And also this yarn feels like so nice, especially the like gauge swatch after it's been blocked, like it plumps out. And yeah, actually I've got the gauge swatch right here, so I can kind of show you what it's going to look like post block. I think I really like the way the texture, this looks like really good when the light's kind of hitting it from the side. Like from afar you can't really see the texture, but it really shows up a little bit more up close. So I'm excited to have this done. In some ways, I guess that also reminds me of my storm sweater. I did kind of a very similar thing with the storm sweater, where I did it in a very dark purpley yarn where, like, in the light and everything, you really see the texture. Hopefully, this will be a finished object soon, and I'll put inserts and maybe like an additional clip post blocking on what I decide to do. But right now, it's kind of, it's in timeout. Oh, my daughter also got a hold of the very end of the yarn and pulled on it. So I have to untangle that. And that was just kind of the final thing that was like, well, I'm gonna set this project aside for a second. So setting the Staffin Lite aside, next we are moving on to my Prospect Tee. The Prospect Tee pattern is by Tori Yu, and I'm knitting it up in Farmer Daughters Fibers Foxy Lady, I think, in something Flight of the Crane, which is a merino silk blend. It's reading a little like oranger on camera. Hopefully in post I can get it more the accurate color, but it's this really nice like brick corally red that I think is going to look really nice on me. I have done the back, the fronts, and joined in the round under the sleeves, and I'm just chugging away at this. I think I'm a week and a half in, 2 weeks in to working on this, almost 2 weeks into working on this. And it's been flying by. I will say it's a very easy texture pattern to remember. And I do really like the construction. It's got that kind of like trapezoid back shoulder shaping. And it just, the shaping is really great. This is my first Tori Yu, and I really like the way it's done. I will say the way she's written the pattern out, there's a lot of like text there, but it's also because like with the pattern on the front, she kind of has each of the lines to make sure like you're doing the increasing correctly. So in that way, I would say it's actually really great for beginners because it's not do this many rows of the pattern and then at this rate do a make left every right side row, and then after so many rows make right every other right side row. It's just like line by line for a lot of it. And then once you get into the round especially, it's just okay, now repeat these like 16 rows however many times until you have the right length. I'm going to do this to kind of a cropped length for me. I think that's going to look really nice with the clothes that I would wear this with. And yeah, it's just going to be a nice like oversized boxy tee, but because it's this like merino silk, I think it's going to have like really nice drape and movement to it. Really enjoying this. Hoping to have this done next month so that I can wear it this summer. And I'm really enjoying the Farmer's Daughter fiber. I will say it is, I think it's a single ply. When I was casting on, it got a little like odd and twisty, and I had to like unspin my project just to make sure like the yarn didn't twist up on itself. But other than that, it's been great to work with. It's a little like floofy, but I'm excited to see like the gauge swatch plumped up nicely. So I'm excited to see how this finishes out. I left it downstairs. I'm still working on the second sock that I did. I don't think I posted it, but that I was doing during my like knitting walks. This one has not been so much while I'm walking. It's just when I wanted to knit on a sock or been out and about, and it's been my like project in my purse. It's going a little slowly. I think I'm going to make a little bit more progress in the next couple of months because it's now summer break, so there's going to be a lot more adventures and going to playgrounds and being outside, and I find the socks much easier than like a full shirt to bring with me. I have one acquisition this month. I popped into Mother of Yarns and hung out and knit for a little bit and interviewed Stephanie, the owner, so keep an eye out because I'm going to be having that video up in just a couple weeks. But while I was there, I was not planning on buying anything, but I saw some yarn and I had just seen a project and I was like, oh my gosh, this would be perfect for that project. So yes, I saw this yarn from Forbidden Fibers. It is the Gluttony sock in the color Ravenswood. It's this really beautiful, like, foresty, like pine tree, not quite pine tree. I don't know, it's this really beautiful green. And I think I'm going to knit the Alchemy Tee by Wool and Pine in this. It's a very similar color as their sample. I don't often choose the same colors as the sample, but this just looked so good. So I got 3 balls, which should be enough to do the project. And yes, I wasn't planning on buying yarn, but I saw it. These were the last 3 skeins, and it just felt like, like that feels like a really nice color, and I think like it will be a really good project to wear on its own or layer. Okay, so let's talk plans for some more summer knitting. I would love to finish the Prospect Tee, and I really hope that I can finish the Staffin Lite to be able to wear this summer. That's gonna depend on me checking the gauge and fit, and then if I can either have enough yarn in the gauge swatch to finish it or order an extra skein. Then kind of the next thing would be doing that Alchemy Tee, because I think I could wear it this summer, but also it would be a really good fall thing to wear, so there's a little less like, ooh, I really have to finish this. The other big thing that I am hoping to start working on next month and get done over the summer is a blanket for my daughter. So I've purchased some yarn. It should be here next week. And I'm going to do a Sweet Shop blanket. I've been kind of eyeing this pattern because I haven't knit a blanket. I've crocheted 2 different blankets, one that I gifted to my brother and sister-in-law and one that is tucked away somewhere in our house. I've been kind of wanting to try knitting a blanket, and I also like the idea of like a scrappy project. But a lot of the like scrappy projects I had seen, especially like knitted scrappy blankets, were a little too hectic. But I really like the Sweet Shop because it's more so just, you could do the whole thing scrappy, but it's more so just these triangles, and then you have the remainder of that square, the other half of the other triangle that makes the square, as a solid kind of base color, a neutral or something that pairs well with all of the scraps. So I had been kind of like setting this aside as like, ooh, maybe someday I will gather all of my scraps and knit up this blanket. But thinking about it, I was like, doing a like toddler size blanket might be a good, or lap size blanket might be a good introduction to knitting a blanket, not doing like a full like queen sized bed. With like my kids' preschool, they do ask that you send them in with a blanket to be able to sleep with during nap time. So I had the thought of like, I could do this and do the triangles in like rainbow colors. So I went ahead and ordered some comfy, it's a cotton acrylic, so I think it's going to wear really well, and it's also going to be like a good warm or cool weather blanket, maybe a little bit more breathability than a like wool acrylic blend. But I will say, if anybody has suggestions, I'll put an example of the way the balls are. Normally with these, I would just pull from the outside. But since I'm going to be holding them double, I'm going to have to like take each color and kind of split it into 2 balls. So I'm curious if I should wind it and just try like weigh the ball and try and get to about halfway point and then, you know, cut the yarn, or if there's a way to like pull from the outside and the inside at the same time with this kind of ball skein. Ball. I think it's a ball, not a skein. Yeah, if you have experience with that, let me know. And if nobody comes back, I will let you know what I do and how it works out. Beyond that, I do want to knit, finish the socks I'm working on and knit another pair, hopefully before the end of the summer, just to have those for like gifting and whatnot. And then I also kind of want to do a cardigan, I think, or maybe another sweater for my daughter that she can wear for next school year. That I'm still trying to figure out. Yeah, and beyond that, I've got a bunch of projects, but I don't think I'm going to get to them quite yet. So I'm kind of not setting anything fully in like plans. There's some stuff in my queue that I'd like to get to maybe the second half of the summer so that they can be done as our fall kind of starts to actually get cool into winter, so that I could wear them or my daughter could wear them. But yes, I would love to know, what have you been working on over this past month? I really appreciated everybody's likes and comments and views on all of the videos this month. You know, I've been doing more videos and probably am going to keep doing more videos over the next few months. I have a little bit more free time. Hey, if you know anybody who's hiring producer, marketer, social media type folks, let me know. I'm on the job hunt, especially if it's remote, because being able to like still do drop off and be home, you know, on breaks of school and stuff like that makes a huge difference, because childcare, it gets so expensive and it's so hard to like find, especially if you aren't looking like a year in advance. All that to say, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you want to keep up with some more of like my day-to-day stuff, you can follow me on Instagram and find out more about the projects that I'm working on over on Ravelry. Also, if there are any specific video topics you would love to hear me talk about, please let me know down in the comments below. I am planning on, in the next couple of weeks, having a like reviewing my toddler's knit clothes and talking about like both the patterns and like how they've kind of held up, but more so the yarn, how the yarn has held up. So if you're making gift knits for people with babies, toddlers, young children, or you also are a parent who likes to knit, hopefully that will be a very useful video for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Someplace I call